Right now we're going to go to a segment that I've been waiting a long time to put together called the Ultimate Bling. We chose NightRider jewelry, which is about the top of the food chain, if you will, when it comes to biker jewelry. We got a chance to get into an interview with George Ganem, and you're going to see some really amazing biker jewelry and hear a great story from George Ganem. Sit back. George Ganem. George, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you taking out time to talk with us about this amazing art form that you do. I actually was introduced to your work by a couple of friends of mine that, you know, their whole life is motorcycles, and down in Daytona I got a chance to stop by one of your counters and talk to one of your guys, Paul, and I got a chance to see this stuff up close, and it's truly amazing. How long have you been doing this?
About 35 years.
How'd you get started in this? I mean, it's like...
Well, I started in fine jewelry and kind of evolved into this. You know, I've been riding motorcycles my whole life, but kind of clandestinely, you know. In my area, fine jewelry, you know, it was not fashionable to be running around on a motorcycle. So I usually had, you know, real conservative, wore the suits, short hair and all that, and built high-end jewelry for ladies and whatnot. But I always had a desire in my heart to build a more radical expression of the jewelry line. And I used to go to these rallies and see all the stuff that was produced in Asia and Mexico, and very low-end quality product. And I knew there was a market for it, but I just didn't have the time to do it. So what I'd do every year is I'd make a group of pieces for my buddies and give them to them for Christmas.
Nice.
And then people started requesting my product, but I just didn't have time to build it. Right. So when my boys grew up in the business and started taking over a lot of my responsibilities in my stores, it freed me up to go back to the bench and start designing and making some of these pieces.
Nice.
In the early days, my boys thought it was kind of crazy, you know, because we weren't making any money and silver was 35 cents an ounce. But it was a lot of fun.
So everybody was thinking diamonds and gold is where the money's at?
Well, they thought I was nuts, you know, why are you wasting your time doing this stuff? But I enjoyed it, you know, I just wanted to have that expression in this industry that was different. And I had a love for the people in the motorcycle world, and I wanted to build something really, really nice with no compromise. And when I first produced a few pieces, they were very successful, they were simple, and they came out and a lot of people tried to copy them, and a lot of people did copy them. So I decided what I would do is I'd build pieces so intricate and so complicated that they couldn't copy.
Great.
And then our goal from the very beginning was never ever compromise. Build the very finest product that you can do. And that's what we've done.
So I know that what I did was, while I was out in Daytona, and while I was out at Bike Week here in Arizona, I took a picture of some of the stuff that you do, and I'd like to maybe just point out a few things, and you can kind of tell me about them. There's a character, or a caricature, in here of a very unique face. Can you tell me a little bit about this piece of jewelry?
Every piece we produce has a story behind it.
Okay.
And every piece is interwoven in the symbolisms of our life. Whether it's like this piece here is the back of the Morgan silver dollar.
Right.
This piece here is a caricature of a friend of mine that I've known for over 40 years. And a few years back in Sturgis, we were sitting in the back of my building there in Sturgis, and a bunch of guys from all over the world. We were drinking a little scotch and smoking cigars and telling some of the stories of our lives. And we started referring to ourselves as dirty old bastards. So when we were coming home from Sturgis, I was sitting in the back drawing on my sketch pad, and I looked up in the mirror and I saw my buddy who was driving the truck at the time, and I started drawing a caricature of him. And this caricature right here is a representation of my friend that I've been associated with for, you know, close to 40 years. And he is a master mechanic. And he's, to me, he epitomized the rugged nature of a hard-working steel man.
Awesome.
And just a great soul, a man that can repair and fix anything.
That's great.
And he and I have worked together, and we've done projects for many, many years. And that is a caricature of Lynn Bowen. We call him Stinger.
Nice.
Stingers because that's the charged end of a welder. When you're welding, you call it a stinger.
Oh, okay.
So he's a master welder, so we call him Stinger.
Nice. That fits.
That's a caricature of my friend.
You had a little bit to say, and I've seen a couple of really gnarly belt buckles that you've crafted. This one seems, you know, pretty symmetrical, and
well, this is the back of the Morgan silver dollar. When we first started doing jewelry work, we used to take the Morgan silver dollar and we'd take a piercing saw and we'd pierce out everything in the Morgan dollar, and then we'd make conchos and belt buckles and different other things. But it was a very complicated drill skill in order to use a piercing saw and get all those little letters and all the symbols of a Morgan silver dollar in a high relief cutout design like that. So that symbolized my early days as a jeweler and doing those kinds of projects.
Awesome. And so you have sort of a kind of a theme that goes along with this exclusive group, let's just call it, that you guys have pulled together.
In life there are symbols that permeate our life, and we don't recognize that. You see the logos that some of the multi-million, billion-dollar companies have. These symbols are well thought out symbols, and many of these symbols have been in human consciousness for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
We don't recognize that, but they're all there.
Right.
And so we take some of the feelings, the symbols. See, we call our jewelry American lifestyle. And by American lifestyle, we're not saying that our stuff is just for Americans, but it's the American lifestyle. And what exactly that was the spirit of freedom. You see, when the people started coming to this country, they came from Europe because they were sick and tired of being enslaved.
Right.
So they came here because they wanted to be free. And that spirit of freedom, or that independence, grew in the American heart and soul, and the American lifestyle is that epitomizes that absolute sense of independence and freedom. We're beginning to lose that today. You know, things that are made in America are no longer the very, very finest quality.
Right.
Most jewelry today is made in Asia, or Mexico, or South America, where they can get cheap labor. We don't believe in cheap labor. We build things the very, very finest, and then we offer it at a reasonable price.
I know that there's another piece in here that is really of particular interest to me. And the story that comes along with this particular ring is special because not a lot of people are familiar in any way, shape, or form with the iconography that it goes along with this ring.
Are you talking about the Eye of Providence here?
I am talking about the Eye of Providence.
This is a piece that David Ewell, who in my opinion is one of the finest artists in the world, if not the very best.
Right.
And David and I have been very good buddies for a long time. And he and I were sitting out at the Barrett-Jackson auto auction one year, and we were drawing some sketches on a napkin. We started talking about collaborating on a piece of jewelry. And we called this the Eye of Providence. And if you look on the side, you'll see the Kundalini serpent, which represented the upward spiral of human consciousness to the Eye of Enlightenment.
Right.
So that's what the symbol is in the center, is the Eye of Enlightenment. As you advance in consciousness, you go to enlightenment, where your full understanding opens up and your consciousness opens up. So this represents that symbol. And that symbol is, it's not a cult, it's a cult in the sense that most people don't understand. A cult just means hidden.
Sure.
But this is interwoven in the symbols of the American Medical Association, and also goes back to Egypt.
Sure, and that's what it is.
Symbols.
And I'm familiar with this stuff because this particular iconography is steeped in the oldest schools of mysticism that is known to our humanity. These stories go so far back beyond written history and stuff, and it was an understanding, and it was the school of enlightenment. And for you guys to come together and smith something like this and put this in a ring and bring it into the center of this community, and I know that you sell to all kinds of different people, but I do most of my entertainment and most of my work in the motorcycle community, and when I stumbled across your jewelry right in the middle of it all, I'm like, this really fits.
Well, the riding of a motorcycle is dangerous, number one. We all know that.
That's for sure.
It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to a lot of people. But the reason why people do it is because the feeling of freedom, and also the being on the edge of danger, brings a higher level of awareness, of human awareness and consciousness. And if you hang around with the motorcycle riding world, you'll discover that these are some of the most uninhibited people you'll ever meet.
That's for
By
sure.
uninhibited, I mean they're open, they're exciting people, and they're honest and they're true.
And that is true, and I've been a part of this community. I've been riding since I was 11 years old, but about 23 years ago, I walked away from my rock and roll kind of persona. I came out here and I discovered paradise in Arizona. And so I bought a Harley and just rode around and took my 12-string and started really developing this Americana type of sound. This year in Sturgis, we want to stop by the store.
You guys are welcome.
And we'd love to talk with you.
There'll be a cold beer waiting for you.
Nice. Thank you so much for taking out the time, George. Man,
my pleasure.
Bless you so much. An amazing artist with an amazing story and certainly some amazing jewelry. Say, listen, find your local ABATE organization or motorcycle rights organization and support them. They help us ride free. And like I always say, ride safe, but ride it hard.
Well, I was talking with my buddy Joey Bones the other day, and it been a long time, we had a lot to say. We talked about women, tattoos, and beers, and how our bellies was showing the years. Said he's gonna ride his Harley down Route 66, yeah. Well, I was talking with my buddies Nick and Dee the other day, and you'll never guess what Davey had to say. So one of the things on his bucket list was to ride a big Harley down
Mike's Ultimate Motorcycle Show!
Let me tell you how good my lawyer is. My motorcycle accident was the other driver's fault. The insurance company wasn't going to pay because I wasn't wearing a helmet. They said the law was against me. Well, my lawyer went to Madison and was publicly thanked by the governor for helping change the law. My lawyer got me almost $2 million. My lawyer? Michael Hupy.